Anyway, this will go to my supporters on Locals first, and then everyone else will be able to see it on my YouTube. And also, if you join Locals, subscribers who pay the subscription each month get to see all my videos first, without ads, uncensored. But also join the community, because you'll be able to post and interact with people. And also, it acts like an email list. So when you join my Locals community, there's already about 1,600 in the community. So everyone that joins, it's like joining my email list, because I can send out an email out to you. So that's my email list effectively. So if you want to be on my email list, join Locals. All right, well, so the flavor of the week is the coronation, but in particular for people like you and me, it's Diana. And my last show, I went into more. First one about Diana. So this is the third part, and it's News with Tom numbers, because we'll be looking at the Star newspaper again, which incidentally on tomorrow's papers on Twitter, where I get them from, they didn't show this one. So I had to go to the news agents and take a picture. But anyway, if tomorrow's newspapers, the Twitter page, it'd be great to get front and back. If you can do front and back, that'd be perfect, because there's even more codes. Because this one I'm going to show you today, it's the front, but it's also the back. So this is the one I'm going to be talking about. Give it your best shot. There you go. Give it your best shot. Now, give it your best shot. Here we go. Okay, let's start off with this, and then we're going to go further. So I want you, if you haven't already seen the last two episodes, part one was with Sylvester Stallone, with the lady behind him. He's wearing a Q baseball cap, and it says "Heading into the Storm." The lady's hiding herself behind a book. The book is green. The book is making out that it's titled Every Last Secret, which comes to 197, which comes to Diana Spencer Trump. And I was talking about the possibility of Diana being married to President Trump. Then in part two, I was talking about Melania and Diana being interchangeable. Talked about Mission Impossible masks. So this one, if you give it your best shot. So give is 43, which is book. It's also wife. So give is 43. It is 29, which is Diana. So give it is 72. 72 is Rocky. I spoke about the Rocky films because we were talking about Stallone. 72 is also first. Your is 79. 79 is William. It's Ukraine. It's an M word, which I put on my Twitter, which I won't do on here for the sake of some platforms. But also it's Wonder, it's Super, it's Atomic Silver, so and it's Doves as well. It's the plural of, the Dove, I should say. The Dove is 79 as well. So first the Dove, or the first Dove, is 151, which is Lady Diana Spencer. It's Drain the Swamp, it's Jesus Christ. Give it your is Lady Diana Spencer. And then best is 46, which is Dove. 46, that takes you to 197, which is Diana Spencer Trump. So give it your best. Give it your best is 197, Diana Francis Trump, which is also Every Last Secret, the title of the book. And the word shot is 62. The name Nicola is 62, as in Tesla. General, as in Patton, is 62. That came up in a chat group that I was on today. I've done some numbers on him. But also 62 is Queen. So give it your best shot also comes to Diana Spencer Trump Queen, or Queen Diana Spencer Trump, which is what I've been talking about the last few days. So remember Daily Stars 109, which is Sight Club, which is Witness, which is Jasara plus Nasara, which is Batman Robin, which is 17, which is Diana Spencer. And yeah, so there you go on the, on the back of the newspaper. So there's some other things with this. Also, I should say as well, I forgot to mention. So my buddy Ishmael Perez, we'll be doing a show tomorrow, but he called me today and wanted me to mention. I'm gonna read this out. I promised I would do this for him. So this Saturday, those people that are in California or maybe even neighboring states like Vegas, Arizona, Washington, New Mexico. I mean, I know people travel in the US. So this Saturday, Ishmael Perez will be 13th of May, Saturday. He will be in Anaheim, California, at the Boaty Studio for a book signing and lecture from 2 to 6 p.m. It says to call to reserve your seat. The address is 607 South Harbor Boulevard. Thanks, Ishmael. All right, so go along and support Ishmael if you're in the area. So back to the decode. Yes, so this one, that's the front of the star today. One small step for womankind. So earlier today, I was looking at things and I got reminded of the stuff with Buzz Aldrin about how he says they didn't go to he says it didn't happen. And there's loads of footage of him saying that in different settings. He was at Oxford Union, asked the question, he said it didn't happen. He was asked by a little girl kind of interviewing him. He said the same thing. And then there's another clip that I hadn't seen before. That's at the beginning of this particular clip. I'll put it on my channel. But he said, so he's talking about that. But then today, one small step for mankind, or womankind, I should say. So this is interesting. So that all comes to 294. And it comes to Thomas Sidney Bushnell, yes, Thomas Sidney Bushnell. So I think that's a com in terms of the codes I'm delivering, and it's also a com in terms of the code I'm about to deliver shortly after this part, which I think is mind-bending, but it's brilliant. It also comes to Lady Diana Frances Spencer Power. It comes to Space Force Trump Intelligence. It comes to Tom Numbers is a superhero. I thought that was fun. You know, we're all superheroes. We're discovering our gifts. And it comes to Queen Consort Power, 294. And Womankind is 104, which is Jerusalem. It's the town I was born in. That came to 104. The street I grew up on was 104. Snowden. Not Edward Snowden, but Snowden. I think there's a slight different spelling, but it's interesting, isn't it? He's one of the characters in this. And Rachel Right Side Blonde did the piece with Phil recently, and I guess watch this space, maybe something in the future, we'll see. Also, this is interesting. So 294 comes to it comes to Diana Frances Spencer, 175, which is consciousness, and then the remaining figure is 119, which is May 6th, which is the day of the coronation. It's the day it says redemption, which is 119. Nikola Tesla's 119. Mary Magdalene is 119, and Impossible is 119. And I spoke about Mission Impossible masks. So, are you ready for this? So, like everyone, did you hear that little ting? I don't know where that came from. Just as I said, are you ready for this? I got a little ting in my reality. So there's been some synchronicities tonight for sure. Okay, let's have a look at this. Wow, I didn't even know that one. So the King's coronation. Let me just check that. I didn't realize that one. I've forgotten that one. Sent this to myself. So the King's, hang on. The King's coronation is, I think, yeah. So the King's coronation comes to 217, which comes to Mission Impossible, which comes to Lady Diana Frances Spencer, which comes to Tom Sidney Bushnell, which comes to the Princess of Wales. So the King's coronation, all right, which is the event we just saw. Saturday, 109, Diana Spencer. May 6th, 6th is 80, which is Spencer. May is 39, Angel, but May 6th is 119, which is Impossible. as in Mission Impossible. Okay, let's have a look at this. And also King Charles Coronation, 231, The Calm Before the Storm. All right, where are we? Okay. So I was on the bus and I went to Swanage on the open top bus, and it's beautiful. It's like a little nice kind of scenic trip. It's like going on a little mini trip, a little holiday trip each time we do it. Anyway, this came to me on the bus. So I was thinking, well, we've just seen that coronation, and there were some things that the White Hats put in, but I was hoping for maybe a bigger reveal. But as it seems to be, it's like all this kind of stuff that's been put out there, and bit by bit, people are seeing it. So you saw the bit with the Grim Reaper. I had an interesting one. I texted that to Matt Le Tissier that day and Ricky Lambert, and they both thought that was amusing. But then a synchronicity came up today, and I was watching Bill and Ted, the second one, Bogus Journey, that came on, and there's the bit where they talk to the Grim Reaper, and on the back of Keanu Reeves, he's wearing a smiley face that you see on an emoji smiley face. But there's a thing that goes around about science, bad science, and don't trust the. Well, I'll just say it's poking. It's a smiley face, but Matt uses that emblem sometimes. So me and Matt had joked about the Grim Reaper that whizzed past at the back of the of Westminster Abbey. Anyway, today that film comes up, and he's got the smiley face on, which I associate with Matt when I talk to Matt. Anyway, so I said to him, "We're in a Matrix." He said, "Definitely, you know." And then I got another one. So just a little after that, I was reading some comments on YouTube, and someone was doing a parallel about Drew Barrymore and how she took her mask off in Charlie's Angels. And Angels 39, which is May. So you got Charlie's Angel, you got Charlie's Angel. I don't know what Charlie's Angel is, actually. I should check that. But literally, as I'm looking at that, at the comment, up pops on the screen here, and Drew Barrymore comes up on an advert. So she pops up, and it all happened within seconds. And I text Ricky and Matt and some others. My sister laughed at it, and Lucy, and and I sent it to Ricky, and he brought up another synchronicity that me and him had just about a week and a half ago about a little green man. So I talked about aliens and little green men, and we get in a cab a few minutes later, and there's a little green man sitting on the dashboard. The cab driver's got a little green man, and Ricky was like, "No way." He said, "I didn't really get your numbers, Tom, until that happened." So anyway, he reminded me of this. So a lot of people are getting synchronicities. It's just fun. It's joyous. It happens all the time. So anyway, get this. Also, another thing in Westminster Abbey. Remember, Westminster Abbey is where Diana, her funeral service was in 1997, and I think that was September 6th, if I remember rightly. Again, 6th is 80, which is Spencer. September is 103, which is Princess. So Princess Spencer, that would have been, which would be 183. I got a 183 today, actually, on something. And that's when the funeral started at 9:08. 9 plus 8 is 17. You just do 9/8, makes 98, which is Romanov. And I was saying about how Melania, we'd been told that a while ago she was a Romanov, but then the stuff about the Trumps being Romanovs, the latter-day Romanovs, Diana, all the numbers add up. It's in the second video, the one previous to this. But one thing I noticed is that they'd taken out the floor. So the mosaic chessboard, the black and white checkered floor of Westminster Abbey, because people say that's from a certain group, that's gone. Now it looks more like a kind of browny beige garden feature patio. It's not equal. It's kind of asymmetric, and it's just kind of beige and brown, cream kind of squares, rectangles, and just kind of more organic looking. It's not as uniform as the black white square like an Othello, or like a chessboard. It's not a chessboard anymore. So people know what I'm talking about when I talk about the chessboard. But that's gone. That's not in Westminster Abbey anymore. And I know it used to be there because I've been to Westminster Abbey. I've been in there for Mass and New Year's and stuff before. I tried to do it during um, Rona time, but it finished at 11:30, so I got there late. It was all closed. Why would you keep it open? If you're going to do it, why not just keep it open till midnight? No, we've got to close early. All these absurdities. But that's gone, and you'd have seen that. So there's subtle things. And then there's that guy that was sitting next to Andrew Lloyd Webber. People saying that was President Trump in disguise, and maybe it was because he's doing the folded arms like Trump does. I think someone superimposed a Q on the guy's kind of tie, and I saw that at first. Pete Orange sent it to me. I put it up, and then I saw some of the comments, and they showed up, and then I found someone else's tweet that showed the changing of the Q. But nevertheless, it was interesting because he was quite a character. He looked quite bored, and I'm thinking Trump probably was there. I'm sure he was at some level. Did Biden go? They had Jill Biden the next day shaking hands with the public in London or in England. So I'm assuming he went, but it wasn't even featured. So, or maybe she just went and he didn't go. Right. So this is the big reveal. Okay. So I was, like most of you, hoping for a big, reveal, but it's there and it's right in our faces. Okay. So get this. I did a show about Mission Impossible masks. Mission Impossible is 217. Mission Impossible mask is 261, which I'll remind you is November 22nd for JFK, August 29th for the Terminator films Judgment Day, August 31st for Diana. There was also a reference in the Bill and Ted film. I can't remember now, but it said Paris. It said France, Paris. I can't remember what it was now. Which came to president anyway. No, the Christ 110. And Lady Diana Spencer is Lady Diana. Lady Diana Spencer is 151, which is Jesus Christ. Anyway, people say that Christ is a female. Maybe he or she is, or it's just the Christ consciousness. Anyway, it's a multiple game, and it's just wonderful. I keep digressing because there's so much to pop in. Right. So, Mission Impossible 217. Oh, also Mission Impossible March 261 is it's Kennedy's date, it's Diana's date, it's Terminator's date. It's also the Project Looking Glass. It's also John F. Kennedy Jr., John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. 261, and it's some other things as well. It's also news with Tom numbers. So Mission Impossible Mask is 261, which is also Mission Impossible Anon, or Tom Sidney Bushnell Anon, and I would consider myself an Anon, like the rest of you trying to figure this out. But those that are asking, I'm not aware of any mask myself that I'm wearing. This is me. It does fluctuate. Sometimes I'm bigger or slimmer, but it's me. So in case I'm sure I'll get some comments on that. But as far as I know, I'm me. Could you imagine if we realised we weren't? That would be amazing. But as far as I know, I'm me. I'm flesh and blood, and But I'm here to help make sense of all this. Right. So, did people notice this? They made Camilla look like the queen of the show. Like, she looked really good. She looked glamorous. She looked sparkly. She looked happy. And the way they brought people in. So the queen arrived. Well, the queen. So she arrived with Prince Charles. They got there early, and they're supposed to come in last, but they arrived first. And then they left later, and I'd made a joke. It was a yellow cab. It was the golden carriage. The cab's here for them. And anyway, they arrived first at Westminster Abbey. And she's all glamorous. It's the best I've ever seen her. But then you've got Tom Parker Bowles, her son. But when they're leaving, there's a part, I think it's either when they're leaving. Yeah, it must be when they're leaving. They've done all the ceremonies, and they're leaving. And she's ready, and she's waiting for Charles to move. So he moves forward, and then she's slightly behind him. But she still looks like a queen, and they've called her queen. So she's queen consort, and she became queen consort when the queen passed on September 8th. Interesting enough, September 8th is the first. I'd got some smaller codes from President Trump, but the first one that he did really point blank talking to me. He's talking to other people as well, but I picked it up. He was definitely talking to me in those moments, is when he said, "Great job, Numbers." And I just done my second show with Charlie and I was given the nickname Numbers, which morphed into Tom Numbers as the community gave it to me. And then on 43 seconds, I met President Trump said, "I would," and that was my grandmother's name. And they lived at 43 seconds. 43, Dovedale close most of their lives. Dovedale, because my grandparents were two doves. They were good, wonderful people in this matrix of the reality, and they were protectors of me. And I love both of them very much. And they're part of the orbs that I get sometimes. And they're still with me today. But I mention that because I looked back at it recently. I think I'd done it a while ago and forgotten, but I looked at it again in the last few days. And that the date of that was September 8th, 2020. So literally, first time President Trump mentioned me and confirmed it with the reference to my grandmother. And it's only a couple of minutes long, that clip. It's not very long. I think it's 1 minute 44 or 2 minutes, something like that. I think it's 1:44. So it's not long. But 2 years to the day is when the Queen goes. So we always have these deltas 2 years. So I had my own personal 2-year delta, and 2 years to the day is when the Queen goes. And then people are saying since then it was 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days for the coronation with Charles just a couple of days ago. But my point is, so Camilla's walking out with Charles, and then behind her and Charles is Tom Parker Bowles, and he's all dressed in black and he's quite a tall guy. And then further back is William. Now that looked odd to me. I was like, well, Tom Parker Bowles is not, he's there through marriage because of his mum. Why is he ahead of William? That was, I think, a deliberate con to point to the thing I'm about to tell you now. So I was thinking, well, Diana surely would be there. Diana, I want to do a show with Janine about this, but I'm going to say it now. I think Diana then was Camilla. I think Diana was playing Camilla. And I'll tell you how. So Camilla, Queen Consort, is 217, which is Lady Diana Frances Spencer, which is Mission Impossible, which is Tom Sidney Bushnell, which is the Princess of Wales, 217. Camilla, Queen Consort, 217, is Lady Diana Frances Spencer. And they made her all glamorous, like the Queen. She was front and stage. She stole the show from Charles. And if President Trump is there and dressed up as another guy as well, it just makes perfect sense. But why the rearranging? Why have they got her son in the official procession out ahead of William? That doesn't make any sense. William's the next he's the next on the throne to Charles. And people have been saying that Charles might not last long and that he won't hand it over to William and hand it over to someone else. So that means Camilla. And then we see the Scooby-Doo moment of Camilla. So this is another part here. So I think, let me check if I've done this. I think I have. Should have done. Maybe I haven't. Anyway, so the Scooby-Doo moment comes to 166, and there is a part. It's on the phone I'm recording on, but there's a reference to a Scooby-Doo moment, which is the links into Camilla's numbers. Let me see if I can get it from this. Oh yeah, it is. It is. So Queen Consort. So here we go. So Queen Consort. So that's another one. I got it. I knew I'd forgotten it. So here we go. Ready? Let me just double check. Yeah. So you know when it said womankind? Let's go back to that. Here it is. Where are we? So, one small step for womankind. One small step for womankind. Womankind is 104. 104 is consort. So who's the kind woman? It's Diana. Diana is the kind woman. That's who that is. That's who they're talking about. That's why they've done that. So Lady Diana Magic, or the Lady Diana, is 104, which is womankind, kind woman, which is consort. Queen consort is Lady Diana, the Queen. Queen consort is 166. Sorry, sitch. Do the numbers on that. There's a slip there. 166 is Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo reveal. Is it Scooby Doo reveal or Scooby Doo moment? I did it ages ago. Scooby Doo moment is 166. Is that when we see the mask come off? I don't think it'll be for a while. I think it'll probably be next year sometime. But yeah. So I think. See what people think. Put your comments. What do you think? I think Diana was being played. I think she was right there, and I think she was playing Camilla. Camilla is 51, which is great, which is Batman. Now, I've had an issue. How do I say it? I'm just going to say this. So I put out my first episode of the Tom Numbers show. Sorry, of News with Tom Numbers 261, Mission Impossible Anon, Mission Impossible Mask, Diana Francis Spencer, Lady Diana Francis Spencer mask, News with Tom Numbers 261. So I put that first show out about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, and it got taken down by the other channel. And they told me why. And it's because I said something about Batman. And it's totally benign. I was like, what? So you can watch it here. You can watch it on Locals and see what I said about Batman. But that's why. But Batman's 51, which is Camilla. So I think it was the good guy making the point of this. I think I'll get that reversed. I just got to write to them and ask for that to be done. But yeah, so Camilla is 51, which is Batman, and Trump has said he's Batman before, and you've got Batman Robin, which is 109, which is YouTube, which is Site Club, which is Witness, which is Diana Spencer, which is Zapruder, which is 17, which is Trillion. President Trump's talked about trillions and trillions, etc. So there's all that stuff. But I think so I think that's who it is. I think Diana was playing her. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. And how they do it, I mean, how they're going to, I don't know. Somehow the press are going to make Camilla more and more popular. But they'll be doing that because it's Diana. And then we'll get the switch, we'll get the reveal. Something's going to happen. So she's playing. Camilla is being played by Diana. And I think she was there. I'm going to say it now. Diana was being played. Camilla was being played by Diana that day at the inauguration. I guess it was in some ways an inauguration, at the coronation. Because we know, well, there's been lots of different Charles, they're probably at the spa or have been at the spa. So whoever and whatever were watching there wasn't the case. But the one playing playing Camilla, Diana. So let's look at this even further. So if you could do Camilla 51, Batman 51, QQQ 51, and there was times where they said Q and QQ in the commentary. So Diana plus Camilla comes to 80. 80 comes to Spencer, but it also comes to 6th, and that was the day that took place on May 6th. And if I'm right in remembering, the funeral of Diana, I think was September 6th. Might be wrong on that. I think it was. But 6th is 80, which is Diana 29 plus Camilla 51. There's some other numbers with this, so let's have a look further. I think it's been there right in front of our faces for a long time. I don't think if anyone else has said that before, but that came to me this weekend, and I was like, right, I'm gonna let everyone see what they think. Okay, how about this? Ready? Here's some more. So, okay, so there's more to this. Right, I'm just going to go through these. So, Camilla, Queen Consort. Consort is 104. Womankind, Jerusalem. Kind Lady, 104. Lady Diana Magic, the Lady Diana Consort, 104. Is 217. Lady Diana Francis Spencer, Mission Impossible, 217. Camilla is Diana in a Mask equals 198, which comes to I am Diana Francis Spencer, 198, which also comes to President Trump. So Camilla's born in 1947, which is the year of Roswell, and it's the year of the CIA. So 1947, I think it's the year of the CIA. Pretty sure it is. I'm sure I did that in the other show. But it's definitely Roswell. So 1947, July 17th. Now, if people have noticed, there's an emoji on your phone in WhatsApp. WhatsApp's a number as well. I should check that. And it's a date. And it's July 17th. And I've been thinking that always ties into Junior, because he passed in 1999 on July 16th. And I'm thinking, oh, he'll come back on July 17th. But July 17th is Camilla's official birthday. So she's born 1947, July 17th. I talked about my grandparents. If you spell out July 17th, that comes to 205. That comes to Eileen Mary Adelaide Wood, my grandmother. So President Trump was pointing to that even then. Someone said to me once, why did President Trump mention your grandmother? He mentioned her for a number of reasons. For me, for personal confirmation, but future proofs past or past proofs future. But I think he's mentioned her as well for this. So her full name, Eileen Mary Adelaide Wood, is 205. 205 also comes to a reference in the Batman movie, which is Madison Square Garden. At the end, that's when that all happens. It's like the storm happens, and then the day after is November the 6th, and that's where things are calm again. But July 17th is 205, and that's that's Camilla's birthday. So Camilla is Diana in a Mask is 176, which is Back to the Future, which is the day after sorry, I was getting a little something was flickering then. Yeah, my nail clippers are reflecting back at me as I'm speaking. That's so peculiar. I'm not touching this. Something's glistening. You're going to see this in your own lives, everyone. This is just amazing. Okay, so 176 is 94. What is it? Oh, no. Yeah, so 176 ties into November 5th. And that happens. So, yeah, that happens on the day. The event of the Madison Square Garden, they changed the name in the Batman movie, but the event of the storm of the dome thing collapsing and Batman saves the day, that happens on November the 6th. Sorry, November the 5th. November the 5th. Remember, November 5th is 143, Melania Trump. General Patton as well is November 5th. Paul Bushnell, my cousin, is November 5th, 143. Building 7, Ground Zero, 143. Kryptonian, 143. But November the 5th is 176, which is Back to the Future. That was my point. So Camilla is Diana in a Mask is 176. Let me pull this up for you. So an emoji. Here we go. Let's look at this. Where is it? So if you look in your emojis on your phone, it has a date, and it only has one date. Maybe on other phones it does, but on iPhones it's got just a date, one date. Yeah, put that in there. Are there other dates, or are they all the same date? I've done codes on this one before, but here we go. Where is it? Got to find it. Where's the date? So it's calendar. There. Look. Can you see this? Can you see that? So yeah. So July 17th. Can you see that? Hang on. It's not very. Yeah. July 17th. That's the only date set as an emoji. And I'm like, why have they chosen that? Like I said, I thought it was related to Junior, and it still might be. And I knew it was my grandmother's date when her name when you spelled it out fully, but I didn't realize it was Camilla's until the weekend. Obviously, 17th is 17, and July is 68, which is Baron, which is Mar-a-Lago, which is Wayne, like Bruce Wayne. So the way they've written it, July, Jul is 43 wife, which is book, and then 17. You spell the word 17 and it's Diana Spencer again. It's Camilla's birthday. So yeah, where did we get to? Here it is. Camilla. There we go. Yeah, so Camilla is Diana in a mask, is 176. Camilla is played by Diana, is 198. I am Diana Frances Spencer, the Resurrection, President Trump. Calm Before the Storm. Lady Diana is Camilla, is 150, which is Pull the Plug, which is Trump Train. And see, Arnold Schwarzenegger says this in Terminator 2. Terminator is 133, which is simulation, and I think on a grander scale, I think that's what this is. But I'm open to all interpretations and all upgrades of information. But that's what it feels like to me right now. Somehow, I can't explain it. This, the synchronicities are off the charts, and it's like something else is going on. But Terminator 2, Terminator's 133 plus 2 is 135. 135 is John Trump. 135 is Ivana Trump. I think there's a big connection between Ivana with Ivanka, with Melania, with Diana, probably Jackie O as well. And now Camilla, or at least Diana's playing Camilla. But Schwarzenegger says in Terminator 2, he says on August 29th, as you spell it out, is 261, which is Mission Impossible mask, which is Lady Diana Frances Spencer mask, which is Camilla Queen Consort mask, 261. News with Tom Numbers, 261. Tom Sidney Bushnell Anon, 261. August 29th, 261. August 31st, 261, which is Diana. November 22nd is 261, which is JFK. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., who's Junior, is 261. The United States of America is 261. The Project Looking Glass is 261, or Project Looking Glass Magic is 261, or Project Looking Glass Gate is 261. But yeah, 261 is so Schwarzenegger says he's the Terminator, the good one. That's the principle. They show something was bad, then it was changed, came back to protect. So this is the complexity of this game that we're in. Complex is 88 Trump. Scotland 88. Why did he say, "Oh, I'm home"? He said it's good to be home. Good is 41. Home is 41. TSB, my initials, 41. Aliens 41. USA is 41. Anyway, so 261, but Schwarzenegger says on August 29th, 1997. So he's making direct reference to Diana because 1997 is the year that she passed. But instead of saying August 31st was when she passed, he says August 29th. But both August 29th and August 31st both add up to the same value, which is 261. And it was in 1997. So when he's saying that, there's a reference to that. But then he says, on August 29th, 1997, they tried to pull the plug. Pull the plug is 150, which is Trump train, and it's also what I just said. It is Lady Diana is Camilla, or Camilla is Lady Diana. Lady Diana is Camilla 150, pull the plug, Trump train. So he makes reference to that in that film. Camilla is played by Princess Diana, comes to 274, which is 2024. President Trump has said that the final battle is in 2024. Hopefully, we're going to see things like military tribunals, etc., that were reported by the New York Post and Derek Johnson said this summer. So let's hopefully see that that's the case. President Trump has said the final battle sounds like Narnia or something, is or Book of Revelations 185, Donald John Trump. That comes to 274, which is Camilla is played by Princess Diana. Queen Camilla is being played. Okay, so get this one. So Queen Camilla is being played is 241. 241, the 241st day of the year is August 29th, which is what I just said about the Schwarzenegger reference. He makes that reference. And if you do Queen Camilla is being played, Princess Diana, 132, that's 241 plus 132, that's 373, which is 1.21 gigawatts, which is the amount of power needed in Back to the Future for time travel to happen, for things to be reverted. This is interesting. So 1947 comes to 235. Trump is King of England comes to 235. President John Kennedy comes to 235. Time travel, magic power comes to 235, and Baron William Trump comes to 235. So this is another thing I've mentioned before is Kingsman. They've been showing that on TV again recently. So Kingsman is a white hat movie, in my opinion. So my friend Michael Gambon is in it. He's in the second one. Michael was good enough to do a show with me, which is my very first show on the Tom Numbers Show. It was filmed a few years prior to lockdown, but we did an edit on it and did a lot of gematria on it, and you'll see it all adds up. And there's another picture. There he is. He popped up. So this one popped up this week. It's not the one I use usually, but anyway, there's two of us. He's pulling a funny face. We got a few shots and I'm just laughing. Anyway, there it is. So, and look at back then. See, I'm wearing purple. Purple is 88 Trump, and I'm wearing a kind of purple pink tie. But purple plus pink is 138 Donald Trump. So, but yeah. So Kingsman. So I've met Keanu Reeves very briefly. He's a lot smaller than you'd think. I was backstage only on 2 occasions. I shook Keanu Reeves' hand, and I was never invited back. I was told I could mingle, and I did it really nicely. I didn't ask for a photo, but I did shake his hand, and I didn't ever get back. But that was the year before. That was not 2019, and Tom Hanks was going to appear on the show the week after, but I didn't get invited back. So that was the Graham Norton show. I got backstage, green room, and everything else, and so I met Keanu Reeves, and I've also met Trinity. Got a picture with her, Carrie-Anne Moss. Trinity's 115, which is intelligence, which is Twitter, which is Jim Caviezel. If you're watching, Jim, get in touch. Anyway, so Kingsmen. So either the first or second time I was there, Kingsmen were there. So Jamie Bell was there, and Taron Egerton. So Taron Egerton's really he's little as well, but going through like a crowded corridor, you've got the green room here, and they're all shuffling along, and I'm up against the wall, and there's others, and they're letting all the cast come through. And Taron Egerton looks around and he nods at me, gives me a Kingsman nod. I'm like, that's cool. So Kingsman gives me a nod, and I didn't know about gematria back then. Well, not consciously. I guess subconsciously it's always been there, but it wasn't unlocked. It hadn't been awakened. I hadn't got the download to open it. I had a little snippet with, like I said, in 2015 with Ivanka and my cousin Paul, etc., with 118, his birthday. But I didn't know it, but then lockdown happened, and then I got the Diana download, and from her and from Trump and Kennedy's and all the rest. Anyway, it was all that's the rest is history. I've said it a number of times. But TSB 41, Alien, USA, Good, Home, like ET's 25, Jack, got Jack Kidd, my buddy in this, and there's other Jacks, and but yeah, Kingsmen. So Kingsmen, Taron Egerton nods at me, and TSB 41, that's my initials, and I was like, Kingsmen. So if we were Kings before or Aliens before, I get a nod from Kingsman, and now it's on the show. It's been shown again on the TV. But Kingsmen. So get this. So Kingsman Secret Service. So Kingsman is 88, which is Trump. Yeah. Kingsman. Yeah, because Kingsman. So King is 41. Add the S takes you to 60, and then man is 28. So Kingsman is 88. Trump. So I got a nod from Trump. But this is how it works. The good divine essence nods through people. You get the divine winks. But he nodded. Out of all the people in the corridor, he nodded at me. He made a point. Went. He didn't know who I was, but maybe he did. I don't know. Somehow he nodded at me and gave me the heads up. Well, he gave me a heads up, a nod, an acknowledgement. But Secret Service. So you got the golden. Okay, here we go. So Kingsman 88 Trump. And the Golden Circle is 140, the military, The Apprentice, The Trumps, Tom Numbers, Quantum Magic. But you add them together, Kingsman, The Golden Circle, which is the second film, it comes to The Best Is Yet to Come, which is Project Looking Glass, which I think is a date as well in terms of Ivanka being president in 2028. And they also have this. I've never noticed this before, but they have Happy Birthday Brandon. You go. Let's Go Brandon is in Kingsman, but it's Happy Birthday Brandon. That's in there. That's in the second film. Let's see what Brandon is. So Happy Birthday is 153, which is Galactic Federation. Actually, I forgot to mention that. So last week in the papers, they made a reference to Galactic Federation, and I forgot to put it in, but that's the first time I've ever seen that name on the papers. And I know there's people in the ET communities that are more kind of chop and change on which one's good and which one's bad. And I don't know. I think for me, it just points out that there's stuff above that we don't know about, and they're revealing themselves. But in the papers, it said Galactic Federation, which is 153, which is Black Swan event. But it's Happy Birthday. So let's see what Brandon is. BRANDON. Brandon is 68, which is Baron, which is Wayne, which is Mar-a-Lago. Happy birthday. So 153. 221. 1,000 Years of Peace. There you go, 221. I think that's The Greatest Showman as well. But 1,000 Years of Peace is 221. So happy birthday, Brandon. Happy birthday, Mar-a-Lago. Galactic Federation, Mar-a-Lago. Galactic Federation, Baron. Maybe that's why he's so tall. Probably. I'm sure him and JFK and all these others are ascended masters descending, and I think some of us have been as well. And that's why we're doing these videos, and that's why you guys were watching as well. Some of you have been that as well. So, but what's the likelihood of that in Kingsman 2? Happy Birthday, Brandon. It's in there. I only saw it this week. I've seen the film before, but I didn't notice that. And actually, there's some guy who's an extra in that film that I didn't know he was until a few years ago. He told me. So there's someone else in there. So I know Michael Gambon, and there's another guy that's an extra in the film. But anyway, that's it. So, and then Kingsman, Secret Service. So Secret Service is 151, which is Jesus Christ, which is Lady Diana Spencer. It's other people with other versions of their name. But yeah, Kingsman, The Golden Circle, 140, Tom Numbers. What else have we got for you? Coronation is Gigawatts. There's some other things as well, but it's Gigawatts. It's Michael Jackson. Charles is 66, which is Thames, which is Corona, which is Event, which is Woman, which is Happy, which is Freedom. King's Coronation is 184, which is the Princess of Wales. Sorry, Princess of Wales is 184. So King's coronation is Princess of Wales, and they definitely made Camilla the star of the show. And as I've said it before, Camilla, Queen's consort, or Queen consort, is 217, which is Lady Diana Frances Spencer, which is Mission Impossible. So I think the fuse has been lit. Yeah. Have I got any others here? Oh, I came up with electrolyte. For electrolytes is Tom Numbers as well. Lion Diet is 88 Trump. And you add those together, that's the best is yet to come, 228. Oh, so this is one I saw last night. So Richard Branson, and most people will know, what they think. That's all I'll say. But Richard Branson came on, and he said he'd been interviewed by a guy, and the guy said, "Oh, you've had near-death experiences," and they said a number. I think they said 73, and they said, "No, it's 79. 79. 79 is near-death experience." But the word 79 actually comes to MURDER. So I was like, are they coding? This was a fun one I just got today. So I am the king of Twitter. So Jim Caviezel, 115, Twitter 115, he pointed out to me ages ago, he said that he felt that Elon and JFK had similarities. They look quite alike in some ways. And a little bit there's maybe some kind of familial resemblance. And the Elon that we see now is under, white hat directives and doing what is necessary. So thanks, Elon, or whoever you are. We'll take the good Elon. Look, Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was bad in 1984. Then he came back in 91 or 92 when Terminator came out. I was 17. I watched it with my friend Ledge, and we went to the cinema twice because we were blown away at how good it was. We'd seen Willow as well around that time, but we were blown away by how good Terminator 2 was, so we went and watched it again. But then, he comes back as a goodie. He's the savior of the show. He saves John Connor and Sarah Connor. So that's just this is what's happening. Anyway, I am the king of Twitter comes to 233, which comes to John Fitzgerald Kennedy. So I think probably the great man is probably in charge of Twitter ultimately, and Twitter is in Back to the Future. It's the Bluebird Motel. Bluebird Motel. Just before Marty goes back in time and the storm descends, is 138, which is Donald Trump, which is Elon Musk Bank, which is I am Twitter, and it's revaluation, and it's the savior, 138. I was going to do a show with someone else today, Steve, but we'll probably do it later. So he was talking about General Patton. So General Patton is 148. Donald J. Trump, December 7th, is 148. Simple Gematria is 148. Time Traveler is 148. And Emmett Brown is 148. George Patton is 143. 143 is November 5th. It's also the Grim Reaper. And that's what went past at the back of the Westminster Abbey. And it's like, what was that? Some people say it was Merlin the magician. Some say it was the Grim Reaper. Matt said it. I thought it was, and Matt said the Grim Reaper. But the Grim Reaper is 143, which is November 5th. And remember the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes, Gunpowder and Plot. I'll have to get Danny Rampling back on the show. We can talk. He's been down there beating his drum outside Parliament. But 143, yeah. If you do David Patton, so someone Steve was talking about, Trump was originally David Patton. I've never heard of David Patton until today, but David Patton's 126, which is John Connor, Sarah Connor. It's 107, it's Ricky Lambert. 126 is also, if you spell out the word, it's 45, 45th president. So this guy, Steve Forsyth, he was saying that David Patton was born to George Patton and was Trump. I don't know, but when I went to Iowa, saw President Trump at the rally, guess what he put on? He put on a piece about George Patton. He put it up on his rally. Why is he doing that? And interesting enough, I actually wrote a film script prior to all of this, before 2020, and I featured Kennedy's mentioned in that. Onassis, Jackie's mentioned in it. Someone with a Castle, which comes to 148, is mentioned in it. General Patton is mentioned in the film, and it's 188 pages long, which is a long film. That would be 3 hours, 8 minutes. 188 is President Kennedy, which is Close Encounters, which is Jesus of Nazareth, which is the coronavirus. And I've said it before, when that descended, that's when all the other, people were saying that that's it. But as it descended upon the earth, it was bringing in the codes, the light codes, the numerical codes for other things as well, which is all the point of this show, to let you see that. General George Smith is 188. So it would be General George Patton, but General George Smith, 188. So whenever I hear that about Smith, a general, I always think of Hannibal Smith and the A-Team with George Peppard. And there's the A-Team, and there's Face. You've got a guy called Face. What is he talking about? Face Off? So that's the other thing. Face Off, I mentioned, I think, on a show. I think I did just before the coronation. I'm pretty sure I did, yeah. Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, he's related to Francis Ford Coppola, and Godfather 3 is the whole thing in the movement, Godfather 3. And I've had a comms on that in the Daily Star. I said about Piers Morgan, Gone with the Fishes, because President Trump said it, and then the next day came out. They did a thing with the Godfather. And being Gone with the Fishes. But they were talking about Face Off. So they were showing us, even just with masks, but even maybe corrective surgery, they've made people into other people. I mean, that seems so kind of amazing. But honestly, I think anything is possible. I think everything's possible. If God exists, which I believe he or she or we do, I think all things are possible. It's one of the articles of faith, actually. 13th one, that we believe all things. I think people do. We believe all things, and therefore it manifests. I think that's kind of one of the keys to all of this. But Face Off was shown the night before the coronation. Remember, white hats are in control of all media, so they're putting these things out. They're showing you all the time. Yeah, so that was there. What else have we got? Who did the Grim Reaper? Yeah. Manifesting Game is 143. Remember, 5th of November. Remember, Manifesting Game. Remember, Manifesting God. Manifesting Card. Yeah. Anyway. All right, everyone. I'll say good evening. God bless. Do become a member of Locals. You're effectively joining my email list. If you want to get on my email list, join Locals. It's free to do so. If you want to become a paid subscriber, you get to see all my content first. You'll see all the News with Tom numbers and all the other shows free first, and then you get to see it over on my channels on YouTube. So God bless everyone. But do put in the comments, do you think, so I'm going to conclude my conclusion and reveal for today. The numbers have shown to me that 217, Mission Impossible, Camilla Queen Consort 217, Lady Diana Francis Spencer 217, Tom Sidney Bushnell 217, The Princess of Wales 217. Is Camilla being played by Diana? Did Camilla get played by Diana? And was Diana in a Mission Impossible mask outfit being Camilla there as the Queen Consort? I hazard a guess and think that she probably was. What do you think? I'll have to do a show with Janine, see what she says. But that's what the numbers say, and I feel that's probably the case. That's what's come to me. So maybe you heard it first here. Someone else might have put it out before. I've not heard of it, but if not, you heard it here first. That I feel that Camilla, Queen Consort 217, is Lady Diana Francis Spencer 217. Mission Impossible 217. Camilla Queen Consort Mask, 261. Lady Diana Francis Spencer Mask, 261. Mission Impossible Mask, 261. Tom Sidney Bushnell Anon, 261. News with Tom Numbers, 261. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye.